1960 Sylvania Dualette. That's Dualette. Portable black and white television featuring biodegradable plastic case. That's one of the big faults of these, as I kind of thought and learned, is that the case is basically, this plastic turns to dust. And you can see down here at the bottom how this one is chipped away. And yeah, you just, it's like leaving a plastic grocery bag in the sun for a year. You pick it up and it just kind of turns to powder. That's how the case is on this. But I guess these have a bit of a cult following. In fact, I was pretty much informed that I needed a man bun and a vape to even work on this. So it might not get along with me unless I make that happen. They're worth quite a bit. This is worth quite a bit, probably even in this condition. I'm sure there's a way to fix that plastic. So let's roto-twinculate here. Yeah, I'm keeping it in there. So this came out of a TV shop that closed up and went out of business. And you can, is that a piece of the case? So the cord has been cut off. This was left for dead. I don't know why it was left for dead. Oh, by the way, this video is in 4K, 30 frames per second. That way, those who want to select a resolution and don't have a computer capable of effectively streaming 60 hertz or 60 frames per second, I guess it would be, can still watch this in 30p at the lower resolution. So there you go. Sylvania Dualette. Does it have two speakers? Is that why they call it a Dualette? Take a look at the controls. Zero on off. Brightness, contrast, volume. Like I say, this is a 1960 model year. So 1960 black and white tabletop. And let's get zoomed in on that right there. Dualette by Sylvania. Kind of, you know, all style and no quality. The model number is a 17D17S. And looking that up in the SAMs, it comes back to this. So I don't know if the CRT is any good. If the CRT is junk, this is just going to be a show and tell video. We'll just look at what's inside of it and how it's made. And I can tell you right now, when I see stuff like this, where part of the assembly was melting the plastic and mushing it over to hold something in place, it's not real impressive. This is not real impressive. Guess I could turn the camera upside down and sweep that. Yeah, man bun. So we're gonna, I might have checked the CRT in this before I actually took it. I think that's probably why it's unplugged. The CRT probably checked okay, else I wouldn't have grabbed it. I didn't know at the time that this was anything other than just a kind of a crappy plastic TV. I didn't realize that these were like the, ugh, did it just break? I just barely moved it. That these were like the hipster dream set. I mean, as a thing, like literally, yeah, just pieces of plastic popping off. Just, I'm lowering the value by making the video because it's probably going to just crumble here right in front of us. Anyway, look at how they wrap this with tape. Let me see here. See this? And then look at how they got these wires taped. Supported with tape. I like that. That's pretty tacky. All these are original Sylvania tubes. The only tubes that have been changed are, move this very carefully, over here on the side. That's original. Just the damper and horizontal output have been changed. So this looks like a fairly low hour. Oh God, more plastic pieces are breaking off. Let's go ahead for a little handheld action here. So we have a crappy filter capacitor right there, that orange thing. We have a wax bomb right here. And over here, behind the horizontal output tube, we have a bunch of black beauties and bumblebees. Probably would not be acceptable to refer to them as that with the hipster crowd, but that's what I'm going to refer to them as, because black beauties matter. They blow up and destroy things. Here's that lovely tape wire support bridge. I don't think I've ever seen a TV that's like held together with tape and melted plastic tabs.
Estes são os papéis higiênico folha tripla e folha dupla.
Look at this operation right here. Look at that. Look at this one right here. Also, yeah, looking at the schematic, this has, like, these are custom couplets like Philco uses in the Predictas that always go bad. That I saw now that somebody is now manufacturing them, which is very cool. Not a company, but an individual is manufacturing them, and I don't know if they have them for sale or not. I was just looking at that. That's a really cool idea. Look at that right there. So maybe this was like a low production run thing where they used the chassis out of a, what do you call it, a console, and put it in this kind of futuristic plastic cabinet. And they didn't really make enough of them for there to be any kind of quality. Anyway, let's test the CRT. If I can get a number on it. So what we have here is a 17 DSP4. I think we want, what got Twerko squirculated here? We want this right in the middle at 50. Okay. Set cutoff. It's glowing. It's like we might be putting this thing right in the trash. What am I doing wrong here? Set up 6.350. That's a normal. I got adapter 6. It's coming up a little bit there. Anything today? Anybody? Hello? Is this thing really this dead? I crank the heater up a little bit. Yeah, there it comes. Let's see if I can. Sorry about this. This is not an ideal videoing situation here, especially with the glare. So that's it. On 8 volts, that's all we're going to get. I'm not going to rejuvenate this. That would lower the value and probably cause the plastic to crack. Alright, let me double check everything. That's after baking for about 20 minutes at 8 volts. And it's about it's almost 7 volts right now. So this tube is just dead, which is kind of bizarre because I would have figured that all of the IF tubes and all the other tubes would have been switched out. It looks like a low hour set to have all original tubes except the damper and horizontal output. I mean, you'd think you'd switch those every year in, you know, normal high hour use, but this is normal use. You'd switch those every time the airplane comes by. All right, you know what? Let's get a second opinion here from a different doctor, okay? Just to be like, you know, whatever. So filament set 6.3 right there. That's our filament. We're on black and white. No shorts, gun balance. Doctor says the same thing. You got cancer, you're circling the drain. We're gonna just let you go. Get your affairs in order. The trash truck is on its way. I'll give it a little love tap. Just a little love tap. Rejuvenate 1. We'll put it over here. And we're just gonna give it a little love tap. I'm not gonna waste any time recapping or fixing it. It's a corpse. It's no good. It's a waste of time. Let's give it a little Sparkle Pony Master Charge. Okay. That did seem to make it happy. That did seem to make it very happy. Let's go back to cutoff. No, it still doesn't have any cutoff. It's got some emissions that have a bright, crappy picture. Still very, very tired. Let's put power to it and see if it works. Why not? Nothing to lose. Is that maybe my e-cigarette? And check this out, I actually went down, I thought we were going to get a good exciting repair video out of this. I actually went down and did full 11.5 by 17 photocopy of the SAMs. That way we would have really good quality reference material to service this thing by, but it doesn't look like, you know, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get into all that, because yeah, what's even the point, right? So hey, here's a, maybe I can raise the price another $200. I can say includes high resolution service data in the eBay ad. I'll ask $500 or $600 for it instead of just $3. Okay, here we go. Just gonna power it up. Hopefully we get some fireworks. That would be kind of cool. Now here we go. 3, 2, 1. $90 watts. 92. 89. What is this thing rated? Like 150? $90 watts. What's... Huh. There's something working, because the sound is not that you'd be able to hear it over the stupid airplanes raining the low lead avgas down on me. Yeah, all of a sudden I let the airplane pass and the wattage just started walking its way up. I don't know if that's showing. 125, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. Maybe something's getting ready to blow here. Do I have this whole thing in frame? Oh yeah, the filter capacitor is getting hot. Yeah, the filter capacitor is getting like burning hot. Should I just let it go? Should I just let it vent? Oh, the hate mail I would get for that. $145, are we driving like... Oh, now it's dropping again. I guess it reformed. It's hot. It's not bulging yet. Well, maybe it is. Anyway, where's our horizontal at? Well, the horizontal output tube, which is right here on the left of your screen, the damper and the horizontal output, the filter capacitor is hotter than the horizontal output tube. It's really out of control. So this sucker here is burning frickin' hot, and that's through the cardboard can and the gloves. So I bet if I just powered it up and let it go, it would probably vent. So there's another filter capacitor, not just this one, but there's another one back here. This red thing. Man, what a cheap-ass TV. It's built like an All-American $9 radio. Alright, so see that thing? That's a 1940s multimeter, which they call a selective analyzer. See that? Isn't that something else? So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the voltage on the plate right here. See that? Of the horizontal output tube with our 1940s Weston selective analyzer. Try and get that all in frame, and we should have. Yes, we do have bad capacitors that need to be changed. We have 260 volts here that comes into the damper, should come through the flyback onto the plate. The line that says do not measure that line. If it's connected to the tube, unplug it from the tube and then measure it. Although I don't know if that would actually cremate this thing. So we're going to turn it on. And I apologize for the air show in the background, but there's just nothing I can do about it. I like to do these videos outdoors. That way we get the birds and the gas-powered birds and decent lighting, and if the capacitor blows up, it's not in the house. So we got 73 watts on the watt meter here. We got 73 watts. Let's see what kind of power voltage we got. Nothing. Nothing. And that would probably be accurate, because when I connect it to the cap to the horizontal output tube, the wattage doesn't increase. So we have no plate voltage. So that would, yeah. Guess we can get into diagnosing this a little bit. And I stand corrected. I had should have been the ground. This is the ground. I had it down here on 1 for like 1 volt. So yeah, I'm back on the horizontal plate there. So we have, if that's 500, we have 50 volts, because that would be 100. So we could, see, pull this out, go down to, real convenient, isn't it? So we'll go to the 100 volt scale, and yeah, like 40 volts, something like that. So I wonder if that's due to bad capacitors or what. Now I'm on the B plus, and it's the same. It's 50 volts. So right now I'm connected essentially to right here. So we got, does this use a like a voltage doubler circuit? Let's see what we got. Yes, it does. This is a voltage doubler circuit. So we come into C1, which is a 150, and then we got our 2 diodes, and then we got, so this uses a kind of weird floating ground doubler circuit. So I bet we got this capacitor's probably open right here, which I bet you C1 is this one that's getting hot. It's just the ESR is so high. Okay, welcome to Ghetto Amateur TV Repair. The one that's in there that's getting hot is a 150 at 200 volts. This is a 220 at 200 volts. I just jumped across it. Let's see if it makes any difference. It's very possible something else is shorted in here, maybe. I don't know. If one capacitor's bad, they're probably all bad. Here we go. And the circuit breaker just tripped. I heard it. Let's do it again. Maybe I need to reform. Hey, if it blows the fuse once, it reset it and do it again, right? What could go wrong? Here we go. That popped it again. Imagine that. I know. Let's just bypass the circuit breaker. I reset the circuit breaker. Let's see what the wattage draw is. 230, 470. Wow, we peaked at 470 watts. Something shorted. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I got the variac, I got the watt meter here, and I got our B plus over there. I'm going to go to the FLIR infrared, and I'm going to record with it. I'm going to bring this voltage up until we get, I don't know, 150 to 100 watts there. That'll be under the circuit breaker, and then we'll look with the infrared. We'll see what's getting hot, and we'll know it's shorted. Most likely it's that red capacitor in the back. I mean, unless one of the diodes is bad and one of the rectifiers. All right, here we go. 22, 25 watts, 45 watts, 63, 80 watts. I'm at 65 volts. I'm at 70 volts and 125 watts. And it's dropping like it's a capacitor. And we're looking for something to get hot here. Okay, we got a couple things starting to get hot. Okay. Okay, that is that resistor getting hot. And okay, so we got a couple resistors getting hot. And something down here is getting a little toasty. Okay, we got a diode that's getting hot. Actually, it looks like both diodes are getting hot. Those are those top hat diodes. They're both getting hot. We've dropped to 82 watts and we're dropping. So yeah, this is just a function of that big red filter capacitor. I'm gonna go up on the voltage a little bit. I went up to 80 volts and I'm up to 140 watts and dropping. Yeah, this is just a function of capacitors that need to reform. That's all this is. And we're getting crackling from the speaker. Variac's getting hot there. And the wire going to my filter capacitor is getting hot. Yeah, it is. We're driving a lot of current through that 220 microfarad. We're at 115 watts at 85 volts. So the filter capacitor is reforming. I should have brought this one up on a variac from the very beginning. And our B plus is almost 250 now. Let me go back to the other camera. You can see our tubes getting hot. We have static from the speaker. So let me say this. This would have been a perfect candidate to Variac, not as an afterthought, but as the original Bring Back to Life Resurrection. I should have Variac this. This capacitor was still bad. All these electrolytics are bad. I don't think it would have really mattered, because if this capacitor was good, it would have popped the circuit breaker initially like this one, because that one back there is shorted. So anyway, right at 260 volts. Ooh, that TV burning smell. Gotta love that. So if I get an antenna, will this pick up channel 6 analog? And by the way, Dualette, I don't know what it's referring to dual as, because it does not have two speakers, so I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, channel 6, yeah, I always have to explain this. Here in Los Angeles and in San Diego, so Los Angeles and San Diego, there are low power television stations that are still broadcasting on channel 6. It's Guadalupe TV and radio, because it comes in at the bottom of the FM broadcast band, so it's both a TV station and an FM radio station, and it's on channel 6.
Con la fuerza del Espíritu Santo, pero ahora nuestro
the horizontal is way off. It's rolling both vertical and horizontal. Stand by.
Hola Mariana, me enteré que te mudaste de ciudad.
Hola Alma, así es, ahora vivo en San Diego.
Me imagino que ha de ser difícil el cambio y empezar de nuevo.
En realidad me siento bien y muy acompañada, ya que durante todo el día en casa o en el trabajo escucho Guadalupe Radio.
¿Cómo? ¿Guadalupe Radio se escucha en San Diego? Eso no lo sabía.
Sí, desde noviembre se escucha en San Diego y también en Tijuana.
Guadalupe Radio, un solo palpitar, un solo corazón, una misma señal. La señal de Guadalupe Radio no tiene fronteras. No hay límites para llevar el Evangelio de Cristo al pueblo de Dios. Guatemala.
Para mí ha sido de mucha bendición.
Puerto Rico.
He aprendido mucho sobre mi fe.
México.
Es una compañía. Jesús y María.
El Salvador.
Es una señal del cielo porque me da paz.
So it's in a whole bunch of
Gracias a
countries.
sus donativos, Guadalupe Radio es imparable y se escucha en estos países y el mundo entero. Ahora tú serás pescador de hombres. Señor, tus palabras me alientan al dejar caer las redes en aguas profundas. Continuamos con el Radiotón Pesca Milagrosa.
There's the horizontal.
Como aquel samaritano que a su prójimo ayudó. Te invito, mi hermano, a que des tu donación.
Y así, queridos amigos, como buenos samaritanos, ayudando a los demás, tenemos aquí en este nuevo segmento de nuestro
There you
programa
go.
a Rosa y Aguirre, que se ha hecho presente y pide que supliquemos a la Virgencita por la unión y la salud de su familia. Y con muchísimo gusto, ahí desde Rosa, desde Pomona, California. Gracias, Rosita, y sigan donando porque, miren, lo pueden hacer sin necesidad de cuenta. Déjense de cuentos. Les llega el sobre, meten ahí y lo devuelven con el dinerito en el
You
sobre.
think we got bad bad capacitors in the vertical deflection? Look at that crap.
Digan, pues yo voy a pagar cash. Perfecto, pues lo hacen cash. O si no, sean compromisos mensuales. Y eso sí les suplico. Ay, que solo puede dar $10. Pues $10. Te llegará todos los 10 meses tu sobrecito, metes tus $10 y
Okay.
los mandas. ¿Quién no tiene $10 para dar?
Let's get it in the house where we can see it. Okay, Dualette by Sylvania is hooked to the VG91. Let's kill the lights. Actually, the CRT does not look bad. The capacitors look bad. Okay, Dualette by Sylvania. Bask in the quality. Oh yeah. It's looking good. Little fold over, anybody? Oh yeah, Dualette by Sylvania. Pretty clerky Derbler McMarvel Blarvel. Aren't you glad you get to watch this in 4K? I mean, what would you do without the high resolution of videoing something 50 times the resolution of the target you're looking at? Yeah, this is a weird vertical. This is bad capacitors for sure. Or maybe one of those couplet modules is bad. Although I don't know if there are any of those in the... But this is... Look at that. It's like not only is the circle's like ripped in half and split and folded over on top of itself. That should make these infomercials. Look at the line spacing up here. You could practically stick your hand through that. And then, of course, it's way compressed. And you can't adjust it out. Oh, that's cool. The yoke sounds like a lawnmower. It's all wah. Yeah, this is just bad capacitors. That's it. This whole thing needs a bulk recap, kind of like I did on that Sears. But I have a little bit of stage fright now. That Sears was a little bit abusive. I spent all that time and effort and money, and the thing just didn't work worth a crap. The Dualette really needs it, though. I mean, this is really bad. Alright, let's go to the DirecTV box and watch the air fryer prostate commercials.
Go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way.
This is
at
awesome.
Carvana. This is the ocean.
I want to see that air fryer like this. Look at how the top, is compressed in the middle.
Look, I can't tell you what the surprise is.
Let me see.
Part of the day type of deck.
Design Works GT Revolution for 3 payments of
Here we go.
$33.33. And that includes 2 20-volt max lithium batteries for worry-free runtime.
This is awesome.
Onboard spool holder, so you can change spools in a second and
This
never
is great.
slow down.
And it's
this
getting
offer
worse.
is even better.
It's failing right in front of us.
Works will give you
Check
free
this out.
battery-wound spools for life. That's
Check this out. It's failing right now. The capacitors are getting worse. Look at this. Better turn the brightness down. Yeah. Maybe it's one of the electrolytic capacitors in the cathode circuit of the vertical output tube. Yeah, it's taking a dump right now. That's the thing about these TVs of this vintage. You might get one of these TVs of this vintage somewhere that's been in a barn or a garage sale or whatever. You fire it up, it might work initially, but the capacitors are going to start failing within short order. I mean, you're watching this fail. I mean, it's like collapsing here, and it's getting more spread out at the top as it goes. And it really sounds like a lawnmower in the back. I mean, it's like zzzz.
It really cuts through. That's pretty impressive. I actually thought there was going to be a lot of stuff coming out. You know, it's totally open face, but I didn't see anything.
Cool, let's try a little trimming. So go ahead and turn that head 90 degrees back where it was. And then let's say you had something that you want to go underneath.
I think I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to walk with me?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, it's certainly easier. And it's light. That's a nice thing. It just seemed a lot stronger than I expected. It's very, very lightweight. And I haven't trimmed out here in right 3 years, but it cut right through it.
The Works GT has all the power and performance you want.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to continue to run it. That would be stupid. It needs to be recapped. Running it like that could, at least would, at the minimum, would damage a vertical output tube and would probably damage, fry the vertical output transformer eventually if you're drawing excessive current. But yeah, it needs to be recapped, and this has been a little bit corny of a video, I admit that. Today was, yeah. So, anyway, I don't know if I want to recap this or not. That's a lot of work for something that really doesn't moisten my tablet, you know. This is not really my style of TV. Like I say, man bun and vape machine, not me. Let's kind of take a look at the guts here for a minute. So these couplets right here, that right there, that right there, I don't know what you want to call them, integrated modules, something like that, hybrid modules. Those are in the horizontal circuit. We'll look here at the schematic. You can see that here's one in this area, and then there's one right there. They're indicated by these dotted lines. Those are the components that are within those little ceramic chips. So there's one up here in the sync separator circuit, which is right there. And let me see, let me do this. So we come over here to the vertical output circuit, and it doesn't look like there's really anything there. There's a 10 EG5, 10 EG7 multi-vibrator, and yeah, it sure doesn't look like there's anything integrated there. And if we look, because this TV is not exact, it's the same circuit, it's just the layout's a little different. On this one, the 10 EG7 is up here up above the damper tube, which is that guy right there. So of course we come back here and we see why the vertical's crappy. We have nothing but black beauties or bumblebees, whatever you want to call those. There's about 6 or 8 of them in there. And the problem is, as I've said in videos before, the vertical runs at a very low frequency, so if those capacitors are even off a little bit, the thing's going to misbehave like it's doing. Now, does this have any electrolytics in this circuit? Let me see. We have one electrolytic here in the cathode. So that could be a problem. If that was shorting, leaking, or open, it would cause the bias to be off on this tube. And all of these need to be changed. These are all bumblebees. So there's not many of them, what, 5 of them maybe? But yeah, if I recap this, the vertical would probably work pretty good. So anyway, maybe in the future, I'll kind of see how people respond to this video. If this is a real hot one, maybe I'll consider recapping this in the future. The CRT didn't look that dead after I bumped it with the rejuvenator, which, I don't know, I still have my doubts on that. I tend to trust the test equipment. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. It was a little bit of an odd one, but there's a look at the inside of a 1960 Sylvania Dualette with one speaker, I might add. There's one speaker right there. Right there's a speaker. Nothing over here. So that's a look at a 1960. Oh, by the way, the schematic shows 2 speakers here. 2 or 3 speakers. So for the last time, there's a look at a 1960 Sylvania monolette. This is not a dualette, this is a monolette. Black and white portable television receiver system device.